There have been a few important behind-the-scenes developments about Avatar, The Last Airbender Season 3 over the last few weeks. A new image may have surfaced that could confirm Katara's darkest story in the third season. Netflix has started showing how it will market the main conflict of the final season, and the completed viewership numbers for Season 2 honestly paint a picture that is not very encouraging. Of course, there are also fake release dates and so-called casting news circulating online. So in this video, we will go through what has actually been revealed, what is only a rumor, and what all of this could mean for Season 3. This time, we will really focus on the new things that have surfaced over the last few weeks. First, let's start with an interesting post Netflix made on July 19. The show's official account released some promotional photos showing Team Avatar facing off against Zuko and Azula, and said that Season 3 will focus on the war between Team Avatar and the Fire Nation siblings. The photos we see here are not directly scenes from Season 3. So there is not much point in trying to pull new story details from the locations or costumes in the background. But I do think it is important that Netflix specifically used the phrase Team Avatar versus the Fire Nation siblings. Because at the end of Season 2, just when Zuko seemed ready to choose the right side, he chose Azula again and decided to return to the Fire Nation with her. So when Season 3 begins, it looks like we will not immediately see Zuko standing beside Aang. On the contrary, Netflix may want to show Zuko and Azula as two enemies truly working together in the first episode, or at least in the first few episodes. This makes me think they may tell Zuko's story at a slightly different rhythm than the animated series. Everyone who knows the original story already knows which side Zuko will eventually choose. But the live-action series could spend more time showing his return to life in the Fire Nation and the consequences of the choice he made. For years, Zuko wanted to return home, earn his father's love, and become a prince again. Now, he will get everything he wanted, but he will probably realize that none of it actually makes him happy. On top of that, this time he will have to deal not only with Ozai, but also with Azula, who won a major victory by taking Ba Sing Se. Azula proved herself to her father, pulled Zuko back to her side, and believes she killed the Avatar. So at the beginning of Season 3, everything inside the Fire Nation family will seem to be going exactly the way Azula wants. But I think that is exactly why the change will feel much harsher when her psychological collapse begins. Another important detail connected to Zuko's return to the Fire Nation came from Thalia Tran, who plays Mai. Technically, this statement falls a few days outside the last one-month window we are focusing on, but since it has come up again in recent weeks, and we may not have discussed it in the previous video, I want to include it. Tran confirmed that the relationship between Mai and Zuko will truly begin in Season 3. She even said that she filmed some very fun scenes with Dallas Liu, and that they spent a lot of time rehearsing so the relationship would feel realistic within the limited time they had. So it does not sound like we are only talking about a 2-second scene where Mai looks at Zuko from a distance. The two of them will have multiple scenes together. This may also show that after returning to the palace, Zuko will truly settle back into his old life and act like everything is fine for a while. But we know this happiness will not last long. When Zuko decides to do the right thing, he will have to leave behind not only his father and Azula, but also the life he has started building with Mai. Now let's come to the image that has created the most curiosity in recent days. In mid-August, a new photo of Kiawentiio wearing a long, dark-colored outfit began circulating in Avatar communities. The photo is said to have come from the social media account of the actor who plays young Zuko in the series, and Katara's outfit looks quite similar to the Black Mission outfit she wears in the animated episode The Southern Raiders. Now, we need to be careful here. Netflix did not release this photo as an official Season 3 still. We do not know whether the photo really came from set, from a costume fitting, or from a completely different time. So we cannot say the Southern Raiders episode was definitely filmed. But because of the color, length, and general look of the outfit, it is also a little hard not to see the similarity. If this really is Katara's Season 3 costume, Netflix may not have removed one of her darkest and most personal stories from the show. The Southern Raiders story was not just a standalone adventure where Katara searches for her mother's killer. This episode was a major turning point where Katara faced the anger she had carried for years, used bloodbending in a frightening way, and truly began to trust Zuko for the first time. Zuko helps Katara find Yanra, the man who killed her mother, and the two go on a secret mission together inside Fire Nation territory. In the end, Katara does not kill Yanra, but she also makes it very clear that she does not forgive him. So the story showed us that forgiveness and choosing not to take revenge are not the same thing. If the live-action series preserves this, it could give Kiawentiio one of the strongest acting moments of the season. It would also make sure the emotional bond built between Zuko and Katara in Season 2 does not go to waste. Zuko made the wrong choice in the finale, but the conversation he had with Katara in the Crystal Catacombs created an important foundation for their relationship to be rebuilt later. There is another issue here too. Netflix took the Painted Lady story from the animated show's third season and moved it into season 2. Because of that, some fans thought Katara's other season 3 stories might be combined or removed completely. While season 3 is rumored to consist of only 7 episodes, they also need to cover the Fire Nation infiltration storyline, the Day of Black Sun, Zuko changing sides, the Boiling Rock, Southern Raiders, and Sozin's Comet. So they really have to fit a lot of story into a very small number of episodes. If Katara's new outfit really was prepared for Southern Raiders, the producers may have placed this story inside another episode instead of cutting it completely. Maybe after Zuko joins Team Avatar, he will help Katara to earn their trust, and that mission will be combined with another event in the same episode. If done well, it could work, but if they rush it too much, the weight of Katara's decisions may disappear. One of the biggest problems we had in Season 2 was already that some important moments did not have enough time to breathe. Meanwhile, some so-called exclusive reports about Wang Fire and Sapphire Fire are also circulating online. Images have started being shared claiming that Ian Ousley has been cast as Wang Fire and Kiawentio as Sapphire Fire, but do not trust pages that present this as new casting news too much. Because Wang Fire and Sapphire Fire are already the fake names Sokka and Katara use in the Fire Nation. So saying Ian Ousley has been cast as Wang Fire basically means Sokka is taking on his own fake identity. Right now, there is no official Netflix announcement or reliable production report confirming these posts. Most likely, it is a fan joke. But the interesting part is this. If we really see those names used one day, we will understand that at least part of the headband story has been adapted. I am not yet sure that story has been fully filmed. In a 7-episode season, Aang spending a long time at a Fire Nation school feels like a luxury, but the show clearly needs some fun too. Now let's come to maybe the most important but most unpleasant update for Season 3. The viewership numbers for Season 2. In its first 4 days on Netflix, the season reached 8.7 million views. The first season reached 21.2 million views in the same amount of time, so there was about a 59% drop in the opening. When the first numbers were announced, some people said this was only a 4-day measurement and that the show could recover in the following weeks. And to some extent, it did recover. In its second week, it reached 9.6 million views, passing its first week, but after that, the decline continued pretty quickly. The third week brought 5.2 million views, the fourth week 3.4 million, the fifth week 2.3 million, and the sixth week 1.6 million. As a result, Season 2 reached a total of 30.8 million views, and 228.5 million hours watched in 6 weeks. When you look at 30.8 million views on its own, it is not a small number. The show managed to stay on Netflix's global top 10 list for 6 weeks, but the real problem appears when we compare it to Season 1. The first season reached around 61.2 million views in its first 6 weeks. So in the same amount of time, Season 2 was watched about half as much as Season 1. I do not think it is fair to blame only the quality of the show here. There was more than a 2-year wait between the 2 seasons. Netflix started marketing Season 2 quite late, and because it released all episodes on the same day, the show dropped out of the conversation within a few weeks. People waited years for Toph's arrival, but when the season was released, it did not become as big of a social media event as we expected. Still, no matter the reason, Netflix will look at the result, and the result shows that Avatar could not bring back a very large part of the audience it had in Season 1. So does this drop mean Season 3 could be cancelled? No. At least that is the good news here. Filming for Season 3 was already completed in November 2025. Because the second and third seasons were filmed back-to-back, the ending of the story is already ready, and editing, visual effects, music, and the rest of post-production should be continuing right now. Netflix still presents Season 3 as the official final season of the show, so there is no danger of Aang's story being left unfinished. But the lower viewership numbers may affect how Netflix chooses to market the season. Will the company prepare a huge advertising campaign, or will it release the season more quietly? We do not know yet. Maybe, on the contrary, they may prepare a much stronger trailer and a campaign that starts earlier in order to save the final season. There is no official decision on these things right now, so we cannot say the budget has been reduced or the promotion has been cut. There is also serious confusion online about the release date. Some countdown sites have started showing that Season 3 will be released on the 1st of October 2026. But Netflix has not announced such a date. There is also no trailer, poster, or marketing campaign that should normally exist for a season coming out in October. So the October 1 date is most likely an automatically generated placeholder, not a real leak. In June, Night Edge Media reported that Season 3 had been placed in Netflix's plans for summer 2027. This source has previously shared some accurate information about Avatar's production process, but summer 2027 has still not been confirmed by Netflix. There has also been no new development in the last month that changes this claim. So the only definite thing we can say right now is that the official release date has not been announced. In my opinion, summer 2027 sounds logical, because the wait between the two seasons would not be as long as before, while still leaving enough time for visual effects. The slightly strange thing is this: even though filming was completed months ago, Netflix still has not shown a real image from Season 3. There is no new cast announcement, no new poster, not even a short teaser. On one hand, I understand this because Season 2 was released recently, and Netflix may not want to immediately begin marketing the final season. But on the other hand, after seeing the viewership numbers drop so quickly, even a tiny first look would not be a bad idea to bring the show back into the conversation. A single image showing Aang in Fire Nation clothing, Zuko at the palace, or Katara in that black outfit could have started a major discussion. For now, we are trying to figure things out through actors' social media photos. Maybe Netflix wants to fully finish the Season 2 campaign first and then present the final season as a separate event. But if summer 2027 is really correct, I would not be surprised at all if we see the first official images toward the end of this year. When we put all the new pieces together, a clearer picture forms for the beginning of Season 3. Aang will be in a physically and mentally difficult state because of Azula's lightning. Team Avatar will have to deal with both the loss of Ba Sing Se and Zuko's betrayal. Meanwhile, Zuko will return to the Fire Nation, start a relationship with Mai, and believe for a while that he has won. Azula, on the other hand, will reach the peak of her power, believing she defeated the Avatar and brought her brother back. That is probably why Netflix's latest post presents Team Avatar and the Fire Nation siblings as opposing forces. Later, Zuko will realize that the choice he made did not bring him the peace he expected, and when he changes sides, he will have to earn Katara's trust. If the black outfit that surfaced really is the Southern Raiders costume, then we may have seen the first sign of the story where he earns that trust. So no, we did not get a massive trailer or dozens of new casting announcements in the last month, but the details that surfaced are actually very important for the character stories of Season 3. Netflix is marketing the final season through the war between Team Avatar and Zuko and Azula. We know Mai and Zuko's relationship will truly be explored, and we may have the first possible image suggesting that Katara's Southern Raiders story has been preserved. At the same time, Season 2 losing around half of its audience makes Netflix's marketing strategy for the final season much more important. The thing I am most curious about is Katara's photo. Do you think this is really the Southern Raiders costume, or are we, as fans, once again trying to pull too much meaning from a single image? And do you believe Season 3 can tell all of these stories properly in 7 episodes? Definitely write your thoughts in the comments. As new trailers, images, and statements about Avatar Season 3 arrive, we will talk about all of them here. So do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. See you in the next video. Take care. Goodbye.